Hey everyone! Alright, welcome to 6.3 Solving Systems with Matrices. What we're going to do is we're going to solve this system. Normally what you'd have to do is you have to use some sort of elimination and all that stuff, but now we know matrices. What we're going to do is we're going to solve this with the aid of a calculator. What I did on the right side was I just reminded myself and you that if we have an equation that's a matrix A times matrix X equals B, we have to multiply the inverse matrix first times A times X, inverse matrix A times B. It becomes important because if you multiply it one way, you do rows and columns. If you don't do it this way, you're going to end up with the wrong answer. Alright, so what we're going to do first is we're going to write just the coefficient matrix first. Coefficient matrix. And that is just the numbers here. So it would be 2 and positive 3. The positives and negatives are important, so it's going to be 2, 3. How many x's do we have is 1, 4. There we go. And then next is our variable matrix, and I'll do that in a different color. Let's use red. Variable matrix. Variable matrix. And that is the x right here, and that is going to be, we know these numbers are the x, these numbers are the y, so that way if I do row times column, I'm doing x, y, x, y. So it's going to be x, 2x, and 3y, which makes sense, so I did it correctly. And then it's going to equal my solution matrix. Alright, so let's do that in brown. So we multiply those together, equals solution matrix. Alright, and that is going to be this way. Since x and y are vertical, this is going to be vertical 7, 6. Okay, so now you're going to say, what do we have to do? Well, the nice thing is we've got graphing calculators that will allow you to do that. So what I did was I already put it into the calculator. So you can check that, but if you do second, right here, and I'll move this up just a little bit maybe so you can see it. Second, and you can see right here it says matrix, and it says I've got a matrix right here, and it's a 2 by 2, so I hit enter. A is going to be right there, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, so I did put it in correctly. And then I also went ahead and put in my solution matrix, which is 7, 6, which is 7, 6 right there. Okay, so what I want to do is I am going to do this exact thing. I need to find the inverse matrix, multiply it by A, times X, an inverse matrix of A times B. Now what happens if I do the inverse matrix of A times A? You end up with the identity matrix. So what I'm going to do is I will just write it all out just because you might need some extra help with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take A, and I'm going to hit the inverse button right here, and the inverse of A is right there. So we're going to use here, we're going to do 0.8 times, and then it's negative 0.6, and then it's negative 0.2, and then it is 0.4. Alright, let the calculator do all that work. So it's going to be that times the coefficient matrix, 2, 3, 1, 4. 2, 3, 1, 4. And then it's going to be the variable matrix, xy, xy. And that's going to equal, remember I have to do my inverse matrix first. So I've got to do 0.8, negative 0.6, negative 0.2, and 0.4. Alright, and lastly but not leastly, I need to do my solution matrix, which is 7, 6. Alright, so what should happen first is these two should become the matrix 1, 0, 0, 1. Right? So we've got 1, 0, 0, 1. That's A times the inverse, or the inverse of A times A. So we're going to get that part, and then it's going to be that times xy is going to equal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my inverse matrix A, use my graphing calculator, I'm going to multiply it by that matrix 7, 6. Alright, so if I do that times, I can take my answer and I'm going to multiply it by, I'm going to go to the matrix and I'm going to pull up my matrix B right here, which is 7, 6. And if I do that, I end up with 2, 1. So I'm going to put that right here in brown. We're going to say that. It is the matrix 2, 1. Alright, so you see how we got that here, 2, 1. And now I've got the identity matrix times any matrix. That means that we have x and y. If we multiply those together, we end up with just x, y. And that's going to equal 2, 1. So that means our x equals 2, y equals 1. So our solution would be 2, 1. If you don't believe me, sorry, there we go. If you don't believe me, you can plug those right back into the original formula and see if that works out. Let's just check real quick. 2 plus 4 times 1 is 6. That works out. And then 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 times 1 is 3. Add those together and you get 7, and it's a solution for both of them. So it saves you quite a bit of time if you understand and know how to use matrices. There is no assignment because this will help you with the assignment from the book. Good luck.